Hello and welcome back to Nat Scraps. I hope you're having a wonderful, scrappy, fun, crafty day, and that you will stick around and see where my craft takes me today, which is using up the scrap pieces from the Cape Cod scrapbooking kit. Now, if you've watched the other videos, you'll know that I've created 3 layouts using the instructions as a loose guide. And this here is bits and pieces that are left over. This circle piece underneath there where I'm putting that photo is the scrap from the pre-die cut pieces that were punched out for layout 1. So rather than have that and go to waste, I am going to use that. I was inspired. I started this layout but between doing layout 2 and layout 3, then stopped just in case I used papers and things I needed for layout 3, and had a little bit of a mid layout crisis where I thought, no, I'm going to scrap this whole idea and throw it away, but then came back to it. So I'm excited to show you where I went. There is lots and lots of me moving things around, and I'm going to try to talk through a little bit of my thought process of how I created this, where it went, what I was thinking when I do, I think about 2.5-inch square, and then I'm making the other little paper blocks. I'm not sticking anything down yet. I am popping pieces in, and then you'll see me do the big puzzle move. And it's like one of those, you know, those little puzzle games you had when you were a kid. You move one piece and you move another piece, and eventually you get a picture that comes up. And this was a bit like that. I move one piece, and that would mean I have to move another piece, which means I have to move another piece. Now, part of what is going through my brain when I'm doing all this, and why I don't just go, oh yeah, there's paper in that hole, that fits, is I'm looking to spread out the colors around the page. So you can see those 3 stripy kind of pieces of paper. I'm moving them. I want them sort of at 3 different locations around the page. I also want the lagoon paper, which is that aqua color. I want that also in 3 sort of spots around the page. And then I've got that periwinkle, which is the purpley blue color. And I also want sort of 3 spots of that. Now, the problem being is that wasn't like exactly 9 spots left, and I wanted an odd number of photos around the page, and I was trying to have them so they were sort of even, like there was 1 in each row, and so if there was already a green in a row, I didn't want another green, and that's what is going through my head. So I'm just doing that kind of thing where I'm moving. While I'm doing that, I'm also kind of looking at embellishments and starting to think about what I want in those holes. Now, my first initial thought when this sprung into mind was that I wanted sort of like an embellishment scruncher in each, like, 5 holes around the thing, like cute little embellishments spilling out, and that's what I was thinking. It we'll see where it ends up, but that's not kind of what happens. It does kind of evolve a little bit more from that. In a moment, we're going to skip forward. I'll have stuck all those pieces of paper down and the photos, and there we go. So they are stuck down. I have made those decisions, and the way I stuck those down, there was no going back. Now, the first thing you might be going, well, you talked about this, having your photos spread out and moved around the page and stuff, and I have 3 photos on my right-hand line, on that very far right-hand line. Now, I didn't end up making that decision lightly. It ended up a balance, and I knew I wanted a cluster over on that side, and every time I put a photo down the bottom, it didn't work. It kind of ruined the clusters, and that was the only way that I could get it to work. I possibly could have moved it, had it 1 in, and it would have worked, but I'm not entirely sure. And in the end, I'd moved them so much, I had to make a decision. And sometimes you do have to do this. Sometimes you have to just go stick it down, and we'll fix whatever problems arise later. Now, the next part is embellishments, and we're going to play the move things around game again. It is kind of one of my favorite games, but this is how you get things to work, or how I find I get things to work. I don't like go boom, this cluster is going to go like this. I know this is this and this is going to go together. I do have to pick things up, put them down, mix them around, move them until I'm happy. And you see these amazing, amazing layouts. And sometimes we don't realize that there is that work behind them, that there's that thought process and that moving and things. And I could easily cut these out. I could cut a whole lot of this out and you wouldn't see me umming and ahhing and moving things around. But that's not what I inspire to show in my videos. I inspire to show you guys how I do get to the end product. You can see that gradually as I'm working around here, I'm starting to move from having things in the circles to having that cluster off to the right hand side near the word beach, and another cluster that's on the left hand side down there in the corner. And there is a tiny little cluster up the top with that photo that is up the top. And as I'm working, I'm looking at that as a 3, as a triangle, and I keep kind of moving things so that those clusters grow or they're being built on. Now, at the time, I didn't sit there and go, I want cluster here, and a cluster here, and build them. It was something that developed, and you'll see in a moment. I just emptied a little bag of leftover little bits and pieces, and what I'm really doing is just searching for, you know, a couple of little elements to build that up. And I go through the sticker sheet, I go through the leftover die cuts, and these little bits and pieces of paper. Here I'm putting 2 of those semicircles together to create another dot. So I've got that sticker that's in periwinkle journaling dot on the right. So I'm creating another circle that's just going to come over the corner of that photo that is going to be down there on the left and develop that up. The little sticker that I just took off there that said happy place, that purple dot was throwing me because I've got a little bit of purple already near that palm tree, and that purple is throwing me. So in a moment, I'm going to stick those semicircles down and a little bit of scrap that came out from underneath, and I'm going to cover that up. Now, where there is a little bit of a gap, I will also, what you don't see is that that isn't white paper, it's actually a slight texture, and hopefully you'll see on the still photos at the end that is there. So it doesn't show up as white, but I do use those little pieces of flag and things to cover a little bit of the join and things down there. The circle that I've got here wasn't popping for me enough off the page, so I do just add a little bit of periwinkle ink to the outside edge of that, help that pop a little bit more, and go back to fiddling and moving that around. Now, I have cut a lot of these stickers out there, so I've cut out the seagull, I've cut out the anchor, I've cut out the what is that thing up the top? It is a seahorse. Sorry guys, mind blank there for just a second. Does that happen to you guys where you just completely forget? So I've cut those out, and that's just to help them not feel quite so blocky. And if you've seen the other videos, I've done quite a lot of that in there as well. In a moment, we're going to go to super speed. I know this is on fast speed, but we're going to go to super speed because I'm just going to glue everything down. And that is pretty much it, guys. Once this is all stuck down, it is completo. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please let me know below in the comments what you think of the layout, whether you like me telling you roughly what I was getting up to, where, when, and all those things. There is a few still photos to come, but apart from that, I'm going to do my last minute plea to please like, subscribe, and all that stuff just to support the channel. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.